Do you sleep like this when you would rather sleep like this? Then watch this video, and tonight you will be well on your way to having a much better night's sleep. I'm Marshall Lamb at LifeWorks Counseling, and I want to give you 5 things today that you can remember, that you can practice, that you can put into place so that you can have better rest and sleep tonight. Number 1. The first thing I want you to know that will help you get a better night's rest is to know that the 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep kind of night is a myth. Nobody ever slept for 8 hours uninterrupted. I mean, it just didn't happen. I mean, we always thought we needed to get 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Because the human sleep cycle is about 90 minutes, all human beings are awakened. So from the get-go, you can manage your expectations about sleep by not expecting uninterrupted sleep anymore. Yes, you may have felt like you got 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep once and that was the best night's sleep ever. Just because you're in bed and aren't sleeping, that doesn't mean you're not resting and that you're not actually rejuvenating. Number 2, consider how your room is organized. Do you have an alarm clock? Do you have any clock nearby so that when you wake up in the middle of the night, you can check to see what time it is? Okay, get rid of it. Get rid of it, or at least put it to where you can't see it. And here's why you want to not be able to see it, because when you wake up in the middle of the night with enough consciousness that you can be aware of what time it is, your brain will automatically do this backward, kind of subtraction thing. Like if you have to get up at 7, but you wake up and it's 5 in the morning, you're like, oh, I only have 2 hours left. You do that. I think we all do that because we think that we only have so much sleep to get, that sleep is this zero-sum game, that it's a precious commodity. While sleep is very important, the way we relate to it, we get it wrong. So don't look at the clock. Just know that the alarm that you've set, that'll do the job. That'll make sure you get up. Meanwhile, as you wake up in the middle of the night, what do you do then? Stay tuned for more. If your brain believes that your bed is for lying awake on your cell phone, just scrolling mindlessly, well, if you hope to finally fall asleep, you'll see that you won't be able to. Why? Because your brain doesn't expect to entirely. It expects to be awake. And if you eat in bed, if you do your homework in bed, if you even read books in bed, these things all send messages to your brain that your bed is for more things than sleep. So here are 2 things that your bed is primarily for. Only do these 2 things in your bed. The first is to sleep, is to be asleep, knocked out cold. And the second is to be relaxing by perhaps listening to a guided meditation. Relaxing by being on your phone, it's not the same as guided meditation relaxing. It's not the same as diaphragmatic breathing relaxing, because the mind is occupied with pleasure when it's on the phone. Number 3, listen to a guided meditation before you intend to be asleep. You might think that if you take 15 minutes, half hour, however long the guided meditation is, that if you take that long, that you're cutting into the hours of sleep you could otherwise be getting. But you got to remember, just because you're asleep does not mean your sleep is restful. If you begin your sleep with a guided meditation or diaphragmatic breathing, then your body is calm. It's more relaxed, so that when you eventually drift off, well, your rest will be more restorative and rejuvenating. I couldn't more highly recommend the app Insight Timer. It has over, like 20 to 30,000 free guided meditations. So you might find one on it that you're like, this isn't really my cup of tea. But you'll find some. Some are specifically designed for sleep. Some are specifically designed for paying attention to your body. Some are specifically designed for manifesting abundance in your life. Okay, I don't really know about all that with the meditation, but I do know that whatever it is you do with meditation, if you're paying attention to it, it helps the body calm down. Now, what do you do if you wake up in the middle of the night? Put the meditation back on. Put it back on. When I wake up in the middle of the night now, because I practice the guided meditations before I go to bed, If I wake up, I am now mindful every time to pay attention to my jaw. Typically, my body just wants to sleep with a tense jaw. So I will loosen my jaw and let my tongue go slack in my mouth. And that kind of sends a signal to my brain again that I'm relaxed. I don't have any big expectations. And if it seems like, all right, nothing's really happening, I'll do some diaphragmatic breathing or I'll put on another guided meditation. Getting rid of this idea that, oh no, if I don't fall asleep again in a hurry, I'm really messing with my night's rest. You're not messing with your night's rest if you do it that way. Ultimately, if you find that you're just not going back to sleep, then get out of bed and do the guided meditation on the floor or seated upright in a chair. Read a textbook. I don't know, read Leviticus or Numbers or something, Judges. Number 4. This one can be tough, but I'm telling you, if you have the tenacity to commit to it, it'll really pay off. Get up at the same time every day before you have to get out of bed. I like to brag to my clients and friends and family that when I was in high school, I was one of the best sleeper inners of all time. I took state. Harvard, Yale, Princeton were very interested in me for their sleeping in programs, but I had to decline. If you choose to get up at the same time or around the same time every day, weekends included, regardless of how much sleep you got the night before, you'll be doing pretty good. Okay, this is kind of a 4.5 tip. Learn how to power nap. Set a timer during the day for 15 minutes, lie down, close your eyes, breathe slowly, and then when the timer's done, you're done. Your nap's over. But you may say, but I didn't even fall asleep. If you don't fall asleep, it's not a nap. It doesn't matter. If you're lying still for 15 minutes, you will rest. You will start to notice that you start to go into sleep and kind of float around in it a little bit. It's restorative. Look it up. Power naps. The power of the power nap cannot be overstated. Number 5. Be patient. Be patient. Give these things time. Your brain, tonight it's going to want to get to bed and relate to sleep the way it's normally related to it. But if you start to build these things in, even over the next few days, you'll start to notice that your sleep will be better. One way that you can notice that is if you seem to be even a little bit more tired during the day. This doesn't mean you're not getting good sleep. It means that your body is finally letting loose. It's finally able to restore and rejuvenate and to de-stress while you sleep. Some say, apparently, that sleep is in and of itself its own form of meditation. It's its own state of consciousness. We treat it one or the other, black or white. If you're awake, well, you're awake and it's daytime. And if you're asleep, that's sleep time. But the transition between the two, if we're patient, if we approach it just a little bit more carefully, we can actually fall asleep better prepared to be restored by the marvelous wonder of sleep.
Now it's time to say